Hey everyone, and welcome to week 4 of the Romancing the Stones Dance Party 2022 League. I'm Stu.
I'm,
And
I'm
this is
Mike. Yeah, good. Glad to have anybody who's tuning in for this. I hope that this ends up being an enjoyable stream, and we're bringing to you guys some quality middle school MTG matches. This should hopefully be exciting. Let's go ahead and look at the two decks we have. So maybe we should say the players as well.
Yeah, let's do that. Um, yeah, so tonight we have our first match is a pair of three players. So these guys are essentially in contention for top 8 at this point. I would say whoever wins this match has a very good chance of top 8 in the whole league. Our first player is Brad Benders, who is on like a Jund rock. It's basically Burning Wish rock. Burning Wish is an interesting addition to the deck.
all right. We're back. Hopefully, it's working this time. We're having OBS issues.
Right, looks good on the stream. So
Yeah.
we seem to be.
Looks good.
Oh man, I can't look at myself. It's delayed.
So I was saying that Brad is playing a Burning Wish rock. Burning Wish brings, I think, a lot to what that deck can do, and Phil is playing Survival Elves, which I think is a powerful deck in middle school. It is, I'm led to believe, a scourge in the pre-modern format, and I think we haven't seen it quite break through in our leagues in the same way. Elves has had a consistent presence across our leagues and has put up top 8s a couple times. We've seen like Armageddon Elves and Opposition Elves. Survival Elves, I don't think we have seen with the same. It hasn't put up the results yet, but I'm excited to see how it goes here. My initial take from looking at the deck lists is that Brad is probably favored. I think having access to 4 Pernicious Deed is always good against permanent based decks. But Brad also gets a lot out of the Burning Wish here because he has a Pyroclasm in his board that he could wish for. So having that extra access to a game 1 sweeper, I think, is going to be pretty big for the rock deck.
Having some trouble getting these tabs back because there we go. Okay.
You gonna get the stream back then?
Sorry.
We're having a few tech issues here. All right, so we've seen what is one of the, I think the ideal start for Brad's deck is just a Birds of Paradise. I don't believe he's playing anything like a Veteran Explorer. So Birds is the most he can ask for, and Phil is kind of going off here already. I mean, this is a pretty explosive start. Wirewood Symbiote, I think, it's a super powerful card and something Elves always wants to see, although it's probably less relevant here in the sense that Brad isn't going to be playing a lot of spot removal or anything like that. It's a lot of just sweepers that he has access to. So
For sure. I don't know. It looks like Phil is doing what Elves does best. It looks like a. I hope he's got something to do with all that mana because that looks like a lot of mana.
Yeah. Well, so let's see. The payoffs that Phil can get in his Elves deck are first off, there's Survival. So if he has the cards in hand, he can do some impressive things with Survival with that much mana. He also has access to 2 Biorhythms, which is a pretty strong finisher, and I mean, he's already not that far away from casting it.
I mean, what, the Cradle taps for 8, and then Forest Elf is 7, and then you can untap an Elf. He's already got it, right?
Cradle taps for 4 here.
Yeah, for
right?
4.
So he's got 4, 5 off the Forest, 6, 7 with Llanowar
and
Elves.
then untap one of them, right? Untap the Forest with the bouncing an Elf. and then you tap it again.
No, that's
that-
Kyrian Ranger that does that. Wirewood Symbiote is the one that like protects guys, right?
No, you're thinking of Sylvan Safekeeper. Wired Symbiote is definitely one of the most powerful cards in all of Elfdom. It's I forget which one. It is return an elf you control to your hand, untap target forest.
No, that's Kyrian Ranger.
So it's the other way. It's
Yeah,
return a forest to your hand, untap target elf.
No, it's return an elf you control to its owner's hand, untap target creature.
Oh, so like just way better.
Yeah, I mean Symbiote's kind of nuts. Like as it protects your men pretty well.
Well, he gets tap for 8, is what I'm saying right now. You can put him to 2 if he had a buyer with him.
So he's got a destructive flow, which is probably like largely not very effective against elves, but I mean getting rid of that cradle here is pretty big game. That cuts Phil off of a lot of mana.
I see.
So yeah, I mean not knowing what's in Phil's hand, I'm not sure what he can be doing here, but I mean regardless, he's got what he's got 5 power on board. I think Multiny's Acolyte is a 2/1.
Yeah, that's right.
So he can also start just clocking Brad, even if he doesn't have a payoff. And then as long as Brad doesn't have a sweeper, which again would be 4 deeds and then the Burning Wish for Pyroclasm, then Phil can put him under some serious pressure. But that's 8 cards in Brad's deck that just clean up this board state.
Right.
So Phil's got to kind of get it going here, whether that means beating down or setting himself for a bigger payoff and closing this out.
I feel like the Rock as an archetype just has a lot of things that are just good against something like Elves, where unless Elves is making one of those big plays, those big mana plays that it can do with its like just engine, the way that it works. Like that's how I think Elves maybe wins this on average, where they can just get that critical mass and then get that big haymaker that ends the game.
Yeah.
Whereas the Rock obviously is just like very well equipped to deal with a creature based board, I think.
Yeah.
For like no matter how you build your Rock deck, you're gonna have ways that like do that. Like Deed, the Burning Wish of Pyroclasm is sick. That's so sick. Like Burning Wish just seems insane. Like a tutor to hand in this format is really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
And I mean, basically, it seems like what Brad is giving up to be able to play the Burning Wish package is he has maybe a touch less discard. Like he only has 1 Hymn to Turok. There's no Necro, which I think some of the Romancing the Stones players maybe think Necro is more of a staple in the Rock than it actually is, because we've seen a lot of success from different Rock variants, and only one was playing Necro. So there's no Necro. There's only 1 Recurring Nightmare. But again, the Burning Wish can look really strong in some cases, especially here. So this Elvish champion is pretty powerful. If we don't see this sweeper, that's gonna put Brad on a super intense clock. He's got a forest, so he can't block, and that's gonna leave him with just a lot of power on board. I mean, he's hitting Brad to 12, and next turn he's gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's attacking for 10 next turn.
I mean, when you play a bunch of 1/1s and some lord, they're all the same creature type and a lord or 2. Like it's just that's how quick it is. It's a couple turns.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Phil doesn't have any reach, so like even if he does punch Brad down to 2 next turn,
he's got to get through
Brad
another combat.
Has a sweeper, then he's still giving a tough spot. So
you could just play another champion, and then it's probably
another champion will do it.
That'll do it.
Brad is fetching another land here, which puts him at 4 mana, which is enough for the Deed for 1 if he wants to. And he has it, although Deed for 1 doesn't look great here because it leaves behind a Multani's Acolyte and an Elvish champion. So,
and the this guy's 2 mana too. The symbiote.
No, I think he's 1. I think he's a green. Yeah, I think he's.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I guess also the Wirewood symbiote can kind of. Oh, so we see that we've got the Burning Wish for the Pyroclasm here. It looks like. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, the symbiote can save a guy. which I would assume is the Multani's Acolyte here, or it's the Elvish Champion.
I forget what Multani's Acolyte's like the Elvish Visionary, but just like worse.
Yeah, it's got Echo. It is a 2/1,
Mhm.
which helps, but
Yeah.
it's got Echo, which is a fair amount worse.
I mean, in Elves though, like you probably have the mana. Just pick it.
Oh yeah. Or you just let it go.
Yeah, I mean he's got.
So he's bringing a Llanowar Elves back to his hand. I'm not sure what that tells us about his hand. I mean, I guess it's that he probably doesn't have any dorks or anything cheap going on, and he needs to just try to totally rebuild.
Can't quite see how many cards Brad has, but
yeah. So we got Dork. I mean, that's the start to rebuilding. We'll see what he can follow it up with. Yeah, Connor is saying in the chat that Destructive Flow was surprisingly good. Yeah, which it doesn't really have any business being good against Elves, but getting the Cradle's good, and I mean, it also means that Phil will only ever get one activation.
that seems actually so good against Elves.
Baloth, that seems pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Brad can. I assume he has to start beating down pretty soon, but the Baloth gives him a 4 life buffer if Phil does too much, and if Brad can do another sweeper effect, leaving his Baloth on the board, he's going to be in a good spot. Ooh, here's Survival. This could be pretty good.
Just like playing Survival and then having mana.
Yeah.
The greatest.
So now, I mean, Brad is really Phil is really hoping that Brad misses Deed. I mean, Deed is just such an impressive card in general, but yeah, this is a situation where Phil could maybe be feeling good, except for the fact that he could
just get deeded.
Yeah.
So probably gonna seems like he's gonna tutor. Yeah, seems good.
Pitching Priest of Titania. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have 4 mana, maybe you don't feel like you need Priest. Get a Squeeze.
Yeah. Might as well get that going.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Playing as though D doesn't exist, which I think you do in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, like there's no reason to try to play around it because it's
especially with the 4/4 on board. It's like you're not going to beat down here. You have to just like go wide and bigger. Tweety is asking if this is game 1. Yes, it is.
Game 1.
All right, so you get a Priest of Titania. Ooh, you have a Cradle in hand. Wow, that's 3 mana.
Priest.
It looks to me like he has maybe 1 card.
Did he take a point of mana burn?
He should take a point. Can you pump it?
It's hard to say.
I wonder if you can pump that into the Survival.
And discard nothing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think discarding is part of the cost.
Yeah. It's tough for him having to get that Cradle out here because he knows he's just going to lose it.
Yeah, it's part of the cost.
Yeah, it's part of the cost, so he doesn't. So Phil should have taken a point of mana burn.
Unless we just like completely missed something that happened. But I'm pretty sure that he made 3 mana. No, he made 2 mana.
You're right. He made 2 mana. Yeah.
Is it a new link that was generated or?
There we
go.
I guess it just takes a bit.
Sorry, folks.
Yeah, we're OBS is randomly dropping. We don't know why. All right. Well, this Birds and Walled Blossoms makes life that much harder for Phil in that he has more of a defensive thing. But I guess now that he has this Survival online, Phil can always get an Elvish champion and start Forest Walking over. So
there's also good ways to make trample. I guess I could look at the deck list and see if there is one
in Elves.
Yeah, I think there
might be a Kamal.
Yeah, that
I
would
think
be
there's-
my guess, but scroll wheel doesn't work on this thing.
Yeah, so he has access to a Kamal.
He does have a Kamal, yep.
Deranged Hermit is not giving everyone trample, but you know, that goes pretty wide. Yeah, I mean, Phil can do a lot here, I guess. Yeah, so he's tutoring up the Deranged Hermit, which he has the mana for. Deranged Hermit is, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, like Mike said, he's got to just be pretending that Deed doesn't exist, because there isn't much that Phil can do to get around Deed at all.
There's no, what is it, like
oh, so he's pitching a Kamal here.
Have he had it in his hand this whole time?
Yeah, I don't know. Get the Wirewood symbiote. I wonder. You need to look up the text on Caller of the Claw, because that maybe has some relevance. Yeah, yeah, he's not a token creature. So Caller of the Claw is a decent answer to Deed if you can get that. So, I mean, this is starting to look a little sketchy.
With survival around, like, yeah, Caller of the Claw.
Oh, our OBS died again. Hey guys, sorry. We don't know what's going on with OBS right now. It just keeps crashing. We don't seem to be having like a Wi-Fi issue, so I'm not sure what's doing it, but apologies. Thank you everyone for bearing with us. All right, so we see Brad's making a Deranged Hermit of his own. Connor in the chat is saying that he thinks there's probably only one Elvish champion. Let's see how many Elvish champion are in here. Phil has...
Yeah, it's one.
Just the one, yeah. So, I don't know. Phil's board's getting pretty scary, but the longer Brad can stall out here, the better and better Deed is looking. Yeah, Tweety is right. The Pyroclasm maybe came a bit early.
I mean, Elves is so good at rebuilding.
Yeah,
like, that's one of the reasons to play that deck. People think they can use sweepers on you, and then you're just like, oh wait, sorry, I have a draw engine that is just overwhelms you. Better have another one.
Elves is a funny deck in this format in that it's also Enchantress is similar, where it's like not that far off of contemporary Elves. It's got a lot of the most important pieces, and while you're missing some more recent printings that are good, you also have access to like survival in this case that does some interesting stuff for the deck. It's I guess speaks well of the rock that it's still able to keep up with something that's this powerful. So something we would love to see from Brad would be a Plague Lord here. That would be fun.
Yeah, it seems like it would be a nice way to keep the board under control.
Yeah, Plague Lord would be nice. Recurring Nightmare could be nice here too.
I mean, Squeak plus survival seems so good.
It's a problem. Yeah, it's certainly a problem. And I'm going to take another look at his Burning Wish package, see if there's anything obvious that could help him out here. So he's used, there's one Pyroclasm in the board. He's already used that. His other Burning Wish targets are Cabal Therapy, Chainer's Edict, Duress, Living Death, Hull Breach, Haunting Echoes, and Reanimate. None of which are particularly compelling. It's funny that he can you reanimate a squee just to steal that out of his yard?
I mean, I think that's a legal play.
Yeah.
Your card says any creature or any graveyard or whatever. Yeah, enjoy that 1/1.
Yeah.
It could be the play. You don't know.
Yeah. You reanimate squee and get your recurring nightmare. You're all set. All right, so we see Phil swinging in here. I mean, he's got a lot of power on the board, so seems like the thing to do. And it looks like you're just trading tokens here. Yeah, Phil's got a lot going on here. I said at the outset of the match that I thought Rock would be favored, and its start looked pretty good to me, but this is impressive from the survival deck. Like I said, I think it says something about how good Elves is in this format, but also just the card Survival of the Fittest has really enabled everything we're seeing here.
It's a great card. Sometimes it feels bad, but I think Elves is maybe one of the decks in this format that would be the best equipped to really like utilize it. Because I played a version of what is it, Wheaties?
Yeah.
The one with like a Shield Sphere and Enduring Renewal or whatever.
Yeah,
that was a survival based build. And I guess like basically untapping with green mana and you have a survival in play and you have a creature in hand felt amazing. But that's a lot of like ifs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, the card does a lot. It fuels a lot of different archetypes in the format.
And green mana is the thing. That's your limiter usually, and
Elves doesn't have that limit.
Elves is only green mana.
Yeah.
They don't do anything else. They only deal in green mana.
We see Brad tapping for 5. That probably just means some random fatty.
Yeah, probably.
Which, if it's something like a Spirit Monger, we don't really care.
Yeah.
Plague Lord is a good 5-mana play, although he doesn't really have enough guys on board to make it oppressive. Lost losing on those squirrels. Undiscovered Paradise, huh?
That's interesting.
That's
something that you can do with lands in hand.
Well, it's amusing with Destructive Flow because you just get it back.
Yep. Instead of having to sack it.
Yeah.
It is a Spirit Monger.
Spirit Monger.
How many of those is he playing? Because we've I swear on our stream or just in our community we've talked about how
he's got
everyone's
3.
like, it seems a lot. Like I think that card is just like, I don't know.
I think our community underrates Spirit Monger. I think a lot of people do.
It's just one of those cards that like it may be a really, really nice ham sandwich, but it's still a ham sandwich.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
No, I understand everyone's objections to it, but like the creatures in this format do suck, and Spirit Monger still outclasses them, even if it's not evasive, and even if it dies to plow, it's still like you feel better having a 6/6 than not.
Right.
I mean, I guess the argument
there probably aren't too many others that are castable and with as much abilities. Like, even though I don't know, Regenerate's pretty good, but like the rest of it's sort of just like.
I mean, I guess the argument is that the thing you should be doing is just playing like a full play set of Deranged Hermits if you're going to bother with any of the other 5
that card
drops,
seems maybe, I don't know. That card's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, Deranged Hermit, premier threat in this format. Sure. Very powerful. Yeah, well, I'd be interested to see what Phil can do from here. He's lost his Kamal and his Elvish champion. So, taking a look at his list, I wonder what else he can do. So, I think he can keep, he's got 4 Deranged Hermit in the deck.
Just keep, like, flooding, but, I mean,
there
just seems...
Well, a good one, he could tutor up a Masticore if he wanted to.
Well, the fact that he's going to basically always have a survival with a guy in hand means that Caller of the Claw is, like, a thing.
Caller of the Claw
with all this mana. Yeah. So any sweeper is going to make a ton of bears.
Yeah, he can make a lot of bears. He can make a Masticore that shoots down the board. He can tutor up a Sylvan Messenger just to like draw some cards. He could also just draw into a Biorhythm, which would be nice. I mean, I guess he doesn't.
I think maybe Biorhythm is the like real answer. Although Brad still has a lot of guys. So.
Well, Brad's sitting at 10,
Yeah.
and pretty soon Phil should be able to just kill him. I mean, I guess he's sitting at a virtual 14. Are we scooping him up? Yeah, I
Looks like
mean,
it.
I think Brad needed a deed several turns ago. Well, unsurprisingly, I made the wrong call
You
about who
thought
was
Rock
going to
would
win
win?
game one. Yeah, I was betting on the Rock there. I was impressed with the ability for Deed and Pyroclasm in game one. So the interesting thing about playing Burning Wish in your deck is that it makes your post game boards, I guess, your post board games a little less exciting.
You can still, with the wish cards though, make interesting choice. There's a lot of
Yes.
interesting choices because there are some cards that might be better to top deck in the matchup, and some cards that are better to wish for.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think of like a random, because I've tried Living Wish and Legacy and in an Ether Vial like multicolored creature deck, which is honestly probably bad, like very bad, but it's still very fun. And definitely sideboarding was weird because like you would usually start with a Thalia in the sideboard, but in some matchups you just want to have more Thalias, like probably against Storm. Like you just don't want to be trying to wish for a Thalia. You just want to have a better chance of having
wishing gives you attacks of 2
Yeah.
for any card you want. I
Yeah.
guess that's relevant. Brad also has some non-wish things in his board, and very relevantly is he has a pair of engineered plagues.
it. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Doesn't necessarily kill everything, but it's I don't know.
It
I
doesn't-
think one on Elves is going to be real tough to beat.
Yeah, it doesn't kill
Really,
everything,
really
and
rough.
Phil has answers, but it's still like that's exactly what you want to be doing. I mean, he has like a pair of Ravenous Baloths he can bring in if he has stuff he wants to cut. My guess is we see him. I don't know. Maybe he's cutting some things like Duress and Cabal Therapy. Maybe cutting Terminates. I don't know, like the degree to which he wants just like 2 mana spot removal.
Right. Yeah.
Destructive
Seems-
Flow probably comes out, would be my guess.
I mean, being able to keep Cradle under control is not.
It's not bad.
It might still just be kind of like semi blank though, because that's maybe about all it does. Like what he's got like a Pendlehaven also that you can kill. Like
Yeah,
it's
kind of
mostly forests.
Phil's got some good things he can bring in though. He has 3 Naturalize, which is helpful. Winter Orb seems pretty good to me. Genesis is good for the grind. Reverent Silence is a way to answer a deed. Nantuga Vigilante answers deed. I think he has an extra color of the claw. So I mean, I feel like Phil gains more out of the post board than Brad does. Engineered Plague is like arguably the biggest haymaker of any of those sideboard cards, but I think Phil's getting more out of this than Brad is here.
Right. I wonder what the Elves player would cut here. I'm not sure if you actually said that or not. But
I didn't. I mean, presumably you can. I don't know. I mean, Elves, you don't want to like disrupt your own engine. I've never played Elves, so I don't have any idea what
Right.
you're doing. So I assume you have to be careful about trimming things like Mana Dorks. Maybe you can cut things like Biorhythm.
yeah, I think maybe that's like a good one, like what I might consider, because
Yeah, you always cut.
we know
the
the
10
Rock
card.
deck does play quite a few creatures. Like it's not like super lean on it. Like they've got a lot of birds. They've got the walls. A lot of their actual like win cons are just beating to death with guys. So Biorhythm is like one shot, but I don't know.
Yeah, Biorhythm's just like your sweet top end, but as we just saw,
Biorhythm
you can
also
do
I think,
insane things without it.
yeah, and I think maybe it can be a liability because if the rock deck is sweeping, then you probably won't have enough mana to cast it, and also
Yes.
like if your guys are dead, then why would you ever cast Biorhythm?
Right, yeah.
Um,
You're probably already winning when Biorhythm is doing its thing, which
Right.
is
so
I'm
maybe
not,
yeah.
I'm not saying that in judgment of Phil's deck design, because like casting Biorhythm is probably one of the most fun things you can do. So like just fucking do it. But
I mean, it seems like it would be pretty good against like a blue eye control. Like,
oh yeah,
what are they gonna do? Like, I mean, maybe they can animate their
Their
factory,
factory.
and go to one instead
Yeah.
of die. Like, because like I feel like against elves, like there might be like a lot of things that the elves player can do that they would want to counter, and it might be trivial to like run them out of counters and then
I
just
assume,
somehow resolve
yeah.
that. Like I don't know, like Standstill's probably still too good though. I don't know. Not the card Standstill. Landstill
The
archetype.
Landstill deck, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say it's
It's,
dominated, but it's definitely like seems really good and hard. Like
It seems to go back and forth on dominating in our leagues. I mean, the last league I think was the one where we had 2 Standstill decks in the finals, but
Mhm.
this time Standstill's not doing anything interesting. So, all right, we see Dork versus Dork.
classic.
I like Brad's choice of birds. I'm very pro 7th edition birds.
Nice. I think my copies of
And
Birds of Paradise are
here's
all
the
the
plague. It's pretty good. I
It's
mean,
a great start. I mean, that's like Birds of Paradise into something like that. Like that 3-drop on turn 2. That's just
it's
so good.
we see Phil pass.
this is-
Oh no,
that's good.
that's pretty good. So hopefully Brad's got some pressure he can put on the board here, or if he, even if it's not pressure, if he could follow up with like
Just lay out a deed. Or
right,
something,
lay out a
like,
deed, dude. All right, you have my Elder. That's good. It's got 2 power and it is just a good card. So Phil could be in some trouble here. I mean, what's the best case for Phil? He draws a forest and naturalizes the engineered plague, but I mean that already he's several turns behind, and Brad
Seems
will
like,
have gotten 2 cards out of him at least.
Yeah.
Just with that, so discarding Squee is I guess that feels a little better than
Right.
anything else. All right, we see him just crashing in for 2. And we've got a Phyrexian Furnace, so the Squee thing is not going to last long. Notably, Brad's Deranged Hermits are a lot worse now with Engineered Plague, because the squirrels will always just be 1/1s because the Hermit dies. Hermit's a 1/1 elf, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, it is. Or
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure
We
it's
have
a 1/1 elf.
power of the internet.
I think Brad is willing to make that trade.
I think it's
He's
fine.
leaving
It's still
a lot
being left
less.
with
Yeah.
4 squirrels
Yeah.
when your opponent
It's
probably
fine.
can't make hardly any
Anything,
guys.
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right, so we're beating down. Brad has some good controlling stuff, but I imagine he'd like to be doing a little bit more with this survival and play. Phil is theoretically going to be able to tutor up something that answers this engineered plague. Although he's still tight on mana. I mean, the 1 mana answer his deck has is an Elvish Lyrist, which doesn't do anything against this because it just dies.
Right, yeah, you want to activate it. Unless there's a champion. Wait, is champion? Is
Champion,
1/1?
no, champion survives. So
So if
he
there's
needs
champion
that.
out, then you can use that.
It's
that's
also
like a lot
slow,
of, that's a
though.
lot
I
of
mean,
layers. That's a lot of layers.
I think what he's looking for with survival is Nantuko Vigilante blows it up. But I mean, that's like, I think that's a 4 mana card. What do we see here? Spiritmonger. So this is where Spiritmonger is just
what you
fine.
want.
Yeah.
You want that sort of like lock piece plus like a like this is like the classic.
Yeah,
like,
no, he's gonna close. He's got him on a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, like
the
the engineer plague might as well be like a sphere, a trinisphere, whatever it is. Like against elves, it's like it's just all of those things.
Yeah.
Sheer resistance, like
absolutely. Is this gonna be a naturalize maybe?
Thalia, like it's the same.
Well, Tanny's Acolyte just to draw. Does Spiritmonger trigger off of any creature dying or just creature?
No, I think
kills?
it once it killed. Like
Right.
if it deals damage, I don't remember.
The trigger doesn't really matter here because it's gonna be
Yeah.
a 2-turn clock regardless. But all right, I mean he's knocking him down to what, 8 here. Survival can do some impressive things with 3
Spiritmonger does not
mana and
kill something. Actually, it just gets a counter.
when it deals damage. Yeah, okay, that will usually kill something, but you never know. Yeah, so I mean, survival with 3 mana and a full hand of cards can do something, but I don't know if it can do anything fast enough to get out of this. And we're just putting more dudes out here.
Discard a squee. Ostensibly, the last time he will, because the
I mean, I think this is over. I don't
Yeah.
really know what in this card pool could possibly get him out of this. He does have a Spore Frog in his sideboard, so if he brought that in, he could do it and buy himself a turn. But I don't see what's going to happen here. I'm guessing we're looking at a game 3.
Yeah, it seems like
It's amusing to all right. Symbiote survives an engineered plague. It's amusing that the match that Elves won, or the game Elves won, went very long and grindy, and the game the Rock is winning is over pretty promptly.
right. I mean, that, like you said, the engineer plague is so impactful.
Yeah. So he's cashing in his furnace to eat the squee, which is fine. This game is not a grind, so you might as well just draw your card and
Right.
deal with the squee.
Well, I mean, the squee is like a potential avenue for Phil to get out of this. Like,
I think we're going to see the concession here.
it seems hopeless.
I mean, what is the hope? It's like it's got to involve Nantico Vigilante and like making a cradle and going off in one turn, and that just it's asking a lot. Cast a bunch of elves that die and then make a Caller of the Claw.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems he played a force, so he's not going to do it this turn with a cradle. Well, you don't need a cradle, I guess. Oh, you need a cradle probably to castle the elves that then die.
Another symbiote, so I mean he's just making non-elves to try to block until he maybe draws his way out of this. But I mean,
that seems like it might be the smartest way to like attempt to.
Yeah.
Maybe he.
Oh yeah, no.
He might still have a very, very, very slight chance of finding a way through. And
yeah.
Maybe this is the way to that by his calculation. I think.
Oh, that's gonna probably
this
probably clean it up here.
Do it.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to scoop him up. Well, Elves is on the play for game 3, and that seems relevant because I mean, what Brad was able to do that game was pretty powerful. Going turn 1 dork into
birds
turn
into
2.
play.
Yeah, it just means you never get to do anything.
That's like what you want, like out of Rock, like you.
And I mean, birds in a engineered plague on the draw is still very, very good. But it gives Phil a little more time to maybe piece something together.
Right.
He's only got the 2 engineered plagues, so and I don't know.
Unlikely you would have such like a nice opener.
Right. I mean, that's like about the best you can ask for. Yeah. It could certainly happen again, though. Just don't shuffle your deck, and then you're fine.
Yeah. Not that we condone such behavior in this community.
Notably, Brad's playmat is keeps messing with me because I keep thinking it's a real book, and I expect the cards to fall into
the put the cards on
this?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're shuffling up. I didn't notice any obvious sideboarding thing. Well, it looks like Brad's maybe doing something. Yeah, it looks like he's.
I know some people pretend to look at their sideboard, even if they're not actually sideboarding. And I don't know. I think I look at it and I'm like, there's no way I can sell that I'm actually doing something, so I just put it down again.
The better trick would be the other way around. If you could pretend you're not looking, but still actually sideboard something.
Gotta practice your sleight of hand.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm not going to make a prediction here because neither of those games went exactly how I'd expected, especially game 1. I mean, we're looking at seemingly 2 good players on 2 powerful decks and decks with a lot of flexibility in what they can do. So I think it's anyone's game 3 here.
And also with cards that are relevant, like sideboard cards that are relevant.
Oh yeah,
like really like change it up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been impressed with the Survival Elves deck from this game though. I've liked the other Elves lists, like I said, the Armageddon and the Opposition Elves that we saw. Those seem good too, but Survival brings a lot, and only having to play 1 color is nice.
Right. I mean, that's just like the mana is just like so awkward in this format. Like I think there's compelling reasons to play like the strongest monocolor decks.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, absolutely.
They just feel like they do what they're supposed to do way more often. Like if the deck is powerful enough or you know, constructed right, I guess. Like, you're not going to lose to mana as much as someone trying to do 2 or more, which, I mean, you can do, definitely. City of Brass is a great card.
Oh, yeah. But you open yourself up to a lot by playing multiple colors. And, I mean, it's funny that even 2 colors can be risky. It doesn't even take dipping into the 3rd or 4th color.
I mean, I like that about this format.
Oh, it's great.
Like, it's kind of more like of a, a thing of the past if you're looking at like modern Magic, like what people play.
Oh, we're so used to perfect mana. It's
even in like the standard formats, they're trying to like, because that's like, I mean, I think the truth is that like the way that the design philosophy goes, it's like people, like in general, the average person doesn't like mana issues because it's not fun to deal with. And like, we're just like kind of masochistic in that way, where we're just like, we actually
give us a little more,
pretend like we like losing to mana issues.
Give us 4 straight minds,
you know, like.
All right, well, we got Man into Dork, which is about what you expect out of Elves. We're seeing a turn 1 play.
Will be birds, most likely.
I mean, the only other turn 1 play he has is like Duress or Therapy, which he might have taken them out in the first place. I guess if he happens to Duress for survival. Phyrexian Furnace, yeah. Well, it's a swamp, so
seems fine.
If he therapies, I wonder what he names.
Yeah. That's one of the things about watching these streams. I'm like, I just wish I could hear what the name was, like, right away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if he'd even keep these in, so interesting. See what we got coming. Good on these guys for even cutting.
Yeah, I don't know. I just tell people I don't care.
Yeah.
Play these.
All right, Therapy. I mean, I assume you're just naming like survival here, because there's so many of the cards do similar things otherwise that I don't know what else you'd be blind therapying.
I think that's a good one. And it might be the card that like gives the Elves deck the most like cast and flexibility in the match.
All right, this is pretty good. If Brad can't do some sweeper here, I mean,
he's just like,
and Phil's got the naturalize. So if Brad can't get that naturalize out of his hand, then Deed can't come down until at least turn 4.
You just crack.
So this is good for Phil. This is good. Something like Engineered Plague is still powerful here because the naturalize doesn't matter. Like Engineered Plague is just at least a 3-mana sweeper. But Phil, if he can do some stuff on his turn here, I mean, he only has one other card in his
Engineered Plague, you bounce an elf and the symbiote's still alive. So it only it's 1 for 1.
Yeah, it's not super insane. Yeah, Rob's saying that in the chat too. But yeah, I mean, Phil, he has a naturalize and 1 unknown, so he's got all the mana here, and he's got a good out to some of the most threatening cards that Brad has, but he needs something to keep this going.
Yeah, I just wonder what that last card is.
Yeah.
If it's just like a forest or...
Yeah, because he could stall out.
This is definitely when it feels tough to be on the mid-range side.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're just like, I'm playing cards on curve only.
Right.
Like,
and
that's the card we're
playing.
Here.
Yeah, that's not the one we want.
Like, I mean, I think he's got a tiny bit of time, but that's not what you still want to be like, doing something else than
I mean, like, for instance, like, Craterhoof Behemoth doesn't exist in this format, so Elves can't end the game the way that it does in Legacy. It still ends the game fast, though. Cards like Cabal close the game.
If he played tap the Cradle, tap the Priestess, and then played another Cradle, he could Bioware them and win right now.
So Phil just crashes in for 3 and says go after playing a Forest. So he still just has the Naturalize in 1 card. That, I wonder if he's sitting on like a Caller of the Claw or like some utility thing like an anti-vigilante.
I
I mean,
mean,
that's the best thing you can hope for
Yeah.
Brad is that nothing really bad happened to you.
I mean, he could just have nothing,
He
but
could
still,
easily have nothing.
he's absolutely got the upper hand at the moment. Like,
Yeah, but
the Rock Deck needs to deliver something to like bring us back to parity because it's just not happening. Like a wall like would be fine. That'd be perfect.
yeah, wall would be totally fine. Wall blossoms here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great for Brad though. That he just hasn't done anything. Terminate.
Flow.
Yeah, you just get the Wirewood symbiote because you can't hit anything else.
Oh no,
that's
terminate.
terminate. Yeah. And he eats it out of the yard.
Green, gold, multicolored cards. Love how they look, but sometimes it's hard to see.
Yeah, for sure. There's some glare. Like that. Yeah, I mean, these have been pretty underwhelming plays from Brad, but like as long as Phil continues to not really do anything meaningful, another forest, yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, I don't think Phil has that many lands in his deck, so like this is pretty bad running. You say swamp and you gonna get anything here?
I don't think there's like a 4-drop that.
Not with single green.
Yeah.
His 4-drop is like
Bailoff,
but you can't cast that. And yeah, Plague Lord costs 5. Yeah, I mean, so as we were saying, the mana does kind of suck in this format, and Brad is playing 3 colors. He only has a single mountain. He's got Birds of Paradise.
I mean, you lean heavily on birds for sure.
Yeah,
doing this.
I mean, a lot of the Rock decks play something like Veteran Explorer too, but I think Brad's deck doesn't have room for it. All right, man, Multani's Acolyte, that's a good draw. That maybe means he can really start setting something up here because he's got to get going before Brad stabilizes. But yeah, interestingly, like Deed for 1 at this point still only hits one thing.
Right.
And yeah, like we said, Phil can answer a Deed that's just sitting there, and he's cashing in his Furnace just to try to get something going here. You know, something like a Burning Wish would be fine, although he can't Burning Wish for a Pyroclasm on the same turn. There's the Forest. That's good.
Hermit would be pretty sweet.
Any of the fatties would be fine. Hermit's got to be the best. There's the Deed. Okay.
That's really good. I guess we'll find out if he's sitting on a collar. Nope. Well, I guess he still could be. At the end of the turn is when you like blow it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that was painful. Phil still gets it naturalized. Yeah, no.
Do it when the guys are still alive.
He might have had the mana, right? He had the cradle.
Yeah, the cradle. So
yeah, he
definitely didn't have it.
Yeah. Yeah, we got 2 more dorks here. That's good.
It's fine. I mean, you just keep like laying them out and beating down, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Brad's only got so many sweepers. He has a lot. He has 4 needs, 2 plagues, and access to Pyroclasm. So
he needs to just have like I think this is when the Rock deck starts to be able to, stall it out again, catch up. Like they get to 5, you start being able to play 2 cards per turn. As long as your hand isn't garbage, like.
But that's the funny thing is your hand can be garbage. Like the Rock deck, other than Burning Wish, it doesn't have any card selection.
Mm-hmm.
And the Burning Wish, again, it seems like it's more or less just for a single Pyroclasm. Mm-hmm. So
at least in this one, yeah.
Yeah, in this one. We've seen Rock decks with Necro as card selection. You could also see something like Sylvan Library or Living Wish. But here, Burning Wish is his choice. But yeah, I mean, his hand could be trash or it could be good, and that's just like the nature of this format. Is these mid-range decks don't have great card selection, and some of the cards just suck. So we'll see. I wish I knew how many cards Brad had in hand here. He hasn't done that much other than make lands, so I assume he's got 3 or 4 cards. I'd like to know what he's doing with them. Elvis Champion, that's pretty good.
That's where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, Brad's already at 8. If this attack goes through, I mean, this is looking like a terminate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still, I mean, he's got him on a 4-turn clock. Untap here. Get some more mana. I mean, he's got all the mana he wants, so he's fine on that front. He just needs.
He's living or dying by the top
action,
deck here. Like, you just need to, like. Keeping the natural eyes up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's helpful.
Still,
like,
yeah.
The enchantments Brad can make at this point in the game are still devastating.
Yeah.
But at least he can get him out of there.
Yeah. I think Brad maybe ain't.
I'm saying go.
Have anything. We just have lands.
Yeah.
Or
We're
not
down to 4.
I don't know what he has because he didn't play land, did he?
Nope.
Nope, he didn't play land.
I don't know what he has. Is this going to be? No, there's only one champion in the deck. What's he tapping for? He's making a lot of mana. Like
4.
A lot of mana here. Deranged Tournament. That's a good one. So Brad's got to do something like immediately.
Oh, he just like untapped a forest.
Yeah, he used a Carrion Ranger. Yeah, I mean, even if Brad, like, spot removal doesn't even really do much for him here because he's at 4. Like, he needs a sweeper here or his own.
I mean, there's no instant speed ones.
Birds. That's what you like to see.
Yep.
That's what the mid-lane decks.
Oh man, birds and land.
Yeah.
Do you have any other cards? I have like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I wish I knew how many cards he had in hand, but this is what could he have in his hand? I mean, maybe he's just letting his opponent kill him to be gracious, but
to give us more opportunity for quality content.
Right, yeah. We're all about the drama here. So he paid the Echo, which makes sense to me. And there he goes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Well, good on Elves. I think that's oh yeah, so he's sitting on nothing. 2 lands and a recurring nightmare.
But yeah. Having played a 3-color rock build that was probably not nearly as like tight as his is, it's still like sometimes you just have those games where you just like stop drawing threats or your answers and you just draw these like kind of like in between cards that like need other stuff to work and you're just like I flooded out like hard.
Yeah.
Like it's either a deck that's very vulnerable to flooding out because it does play a lot of lands. It has dorks, and it's trying to cast like 4 and 5 minute spells to really like seal the deal.
Yeah, that was my take on the rock. I played it. We did that random middle school tournament last fall in a batch for 3 rounds, and 3 or 4 rounds. And I played rock, and I had the exact same experience where I went 2 and 2. Had a lot of games where I just draw bullshit, and you know, obviously the deck's good. It's tier 1 deck. We have seen it put up results in every one of our tournaments. It is a good deck, but you can certainly have that happen. It's like Phil is showing them that he took his biorhythms out, which makes sense. Yeah, so like I said, I expect this means we will see Phil in our top 8 because he's 4-0 now. And I believe I think these guys were the top seeds. Yeah, we typically have some 4-2s squeak in, and I imagine he'll be fine from here. And I'm gonna go ahead and mute ourselves for a sec because I think we're coordinating our next match. We'll be right back, guys. We're going to go to intermission and get set up with our next match. So see you guys in a few. Thanks for watching.
back, everybody. Round 2 is coming up. This is our weekly streamed set of matches for the Romancing the Stones Middle School Dance Party 2022. We are in week 4. I don't remember the records of these players, but
they're both 2-1.
2-1. Okay, so this is still like
Cheers,
the upper
man.
end. Cheers.
Yeah, these guys are certainly both still in contention. Top 8 for this league, we have about 50. It's 51 players.
So many.
It's so many. Top 8, I expect, will be mostly 5-1s, but some 4-2s as well. So these guys are heavily still in contention.
Yeah, no chance for me to get in.
What are you, 2-2?
2-2.
There's
I
a
guess I
chance.
could win out, and
Yeah, you probably won't get in, but so we've got G Win from Houston. G is, I think this might be his first time playing middle school. He's playing Blue Green Madness, which is I think a deck that a lot of people are drawn to.
So yeah, Blue Green Madness. That's a deck that I think when people try to play these formats, especially if you are even interested in this, it's probably a deck that you knew of from its time in Standard because it was one of the best decks in the day. Like
Or extended.
Yeah, definitely. Like a lot of those cards were printed in like the same couple of sets that happened to be in a Standard format together, and it just does a lot of things quickly. And
I mean, G's deck is literally entirely. It's basically entirely Odyssey block with 4 Force of Wills and some different mana.
Careful Study.
Yeah,
it's not from that
Careful
either.
Study. Yeah.
Or is it Frantic Search?
Frantic Search. Yeah,
Search is
Frantic
the older
Search.
one, yeah.
Which is not to say Madness isn't a good deck, but I think a lot of people are drawn to it immediately and maybe don't. We had Lori in a previous league top 8'd with a Survival Madness deck. I think a lot of people don't maybe fully integrate the choices in the card pool, and they just do kind of straightforward Madness, and it's still powerful.
I mean, it's fast. It has protection.
Yeah.
It operates on low amounts of resources. Like that's something that a lot of people who play like Legacy and Vintage, like might gravitate towards, anyways.
Yeah, Delver-esque.
Yeah, definitely.
Jasper probably wins our Spice Award for the night. He's playing. He's played this variant of this deck in every league he's been in. It's blue-red Merfolk with a pinging.
Like with it, 12?
Not even sub-theme. It's a theme. Yeah, there's 11 or 12 pingers in the deck, plus 4 bolts and 4 fire ices.
And a curse scroll.
And to reiterate, he is 2-1 on this pile. When I was looking at his deck list, my reaction at first was to be like incredulous that he was somehow 2-1 with it. But the more I thought about it, the amount of pingers he has, which is specifically 4 Razorfin Hunter, 4 Rootwater Hunter, and 3 Cicada Firewalker. Once you get 2 or more of those in play, it's super oppressive to any creature-based deck and to control decks. You also throw in 4 Lord of Atlantis and all the burn spells, and he has a lot of reach and can have a quick clock. So I think it looks weird on paper, and we'll see how it plays out, but I'm starting to understand how this deck could work.
Like I'm excited for this because I never noticed this when I was looking at previous like league results. Like there's a lot of decks that I was drawn to, but I probably just skimmed over this. But
yeah,
glad I'm getting a chance to see this in action because this looks hilarious and awesome. And like I would consider trying it just for fun, maybe. Like
absolutely.
I'll head to FedEx or FedEx goes and just print it out, like
Yeah, I mean some tribes are well represented and have a lot in this card pool, like Elves that we just saw, and Goblins has a lot of the cards that you see in contemporary Goblins decks. Rebels has a strong set of cards. Merfolk does not.
Right. All the
when-
best Merfolk are much lighter
Right.
printings.
They have 4 Lord of Atlantis, and that's it. You know, when you think about Merfolk in 2022, not that it's a super common deck, but they've got a million lords, and they've got True Name Nemesis, and
just like other guys that do cool stuff.
Yeah,
and
the one
interesting
that
things.
draws a card. Like
Yeah.
they've got a lot of
The
things.
Force Spike on legs.
I think
Guy, good one.
you could picture a world where you'd be like, I want to build a Merfolk deck, and I know Lord of Atlantis is in the format, and you get all amped, and then you look at the card pool, and there's literally just nothing else.
Like your choices are prescribed and they suck.
Yeah.
Like you can't. Yeah. I mean, unless you're doing something like this, like
So,
pingers seem
yeah.
great. Like if you have a lot of them, like
Yeah,
nothing
so,
to ping. Well, they all ping to the face.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you got 2 or 3, you're just bolting a turn or like curse scrolling every turn. I mean, that's more than enough. Also, damage on the stack with pinging is nice. I guess maybe it doesn't matter actually. They work the same way with or without damage on the stack. You'd still just block and ping.
Well, but you deal the power damage as well, so you kill something that's bigger. Like it makes attacking into it harder.
You could still do that, I guess, without damage on the stack. You'd still just block, ping, and then go to damage.
Yeah.
So I guess it doesn't matter, but we'll say it does.
Fair enough.
So we'll see. I mean, I think where Jasper might struggle here against Madness is the ability to deal with like 4/4s and bigger.
Right, and Aaron Orma is a trampler.
Yep. So I think G needs to go fast here. All right, so we see the Root Wallet.
Fine, it's a fine turn one play, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
That guy.
I mean, most of what Jasper is doing as far as creatures doesn't start until turn 3. So for the first 2 turns, he's probably doing just control-y things.
Mm-hmm.
Razorfin Hunter, though, that's a good one.
What's his power toughness?
He's a 1/1.
1/1.
He's a 1/1 pinger. Granted, G, if he just has land, can get around the Hunter kind of with... Well, no, Hunter's actually really good against Root Wall because G is incentivized to swing.
Then you just wait until he tries to activate
Right.
the ability, and you can't activate it again.
Right,
So
and likewise,
Pingers
yeah,
still
G is never gonna like want to proactively pump as a result, so it's just gonna be a 1/1.
Mhm.
So, oh yeah, we see the force for the Razorfin Hunter. Classic
Pitching
magic.
is circular logic.
Pitching circular logic, yeah. I mean, G, I assume, is expecting to be using his mana every turn.
Yeah.
So the circular logic, it's a... Are we seeing
He
him
probably
force?
he doesn't
It
have
looks
that
like
many
he's,
blueprints either.
He's forcing back, it looks like.
Oh wow! I mean,
Force pitching Saprazan Legate, another classic card. I mean,
but Pinger also prevents Narcomoeba, or not Narcomoeba, Aquamoeba from.
Aquamoeba.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't
I
switch.
mean, I guess you
but
could switch
You
back.
could switch it again, but you don't always want to be
And
discovered.
you might be out of cards. Yeah. Be out of cards.
Yeah, so the force battle over the Razorfin Hunter is interesting. The Razorfin against Root Wall, it's good, and if Jasper makes another pinger, it could get out of hand.
Mhm.
But if G can now just say, hey, Jasper, you're down cards, and I'm going to make like a more serious threat that your pinger can't deal with,
Mm-hmm.
then the force battle looks silly. So we'll see. Yeah, Razorfin Hunter, notably a goblin merfolk.
It's quite the what's the word? Heritage, I guess.
It's a hybrid animal.
Yeah.
All right, so we're swinging in for 1. We've got a wasteland here. I assume he goes after the Shivan Reef.
Yeah.
This I don't envy.
I don't know. He's got Wild Noggle, right? And he could cast that off that.
Yeah, but he's saying go, and he's not wastelanding the Shivan Reef.
What could he be having?
He must just be short on land. And we see a fairy conclave here.
That actually seems like a way better target for the wasteland.
It does and it doesn't. Getting Jasper off red seems good. I mean, I don't envy G's position because players, for what it's worth at this point in the league, don't have open deck lists.
Mm-hmm.
Unless G has somehow like seen some of Jasper's matches.
I mean, it could happen.
You have no clue what's going on here, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could maybe piece together Merfolk because it was force pitching Saprazan Legate, but like, this is
the
punishing.
Pinger theme, like
Yeah,
weird.
like
Yeah.
you don't know. You don't know what's going on anymore. So we're gonna see the ping. So this is setting up for maybe I wonder if he's got like a bolt
A
or
fire
fire
ice,
ice.
maybe?
Yeah. I mean, this is hard too because if G tries to save his root wall and just doesn't cast anything for the turn, what's he doing?
Pin 3.
Frantic
Frantic
search.
Search. That seems fine.
Yep.
This could make some things.
Yeah. Good card.
Do you discard and untap
So
on
we're seeing
resolution?
here's the this is a counter spell. Yeah, it's on resolution.
So the discard and the untap occur on resolution. So
Yeah.
that means that Worm could be cast off this.
Yep.
If it resolves.
But he countered it
That's-
and
that's
gets the root wall up.
Frantic Search is ridiculous.
Yeah, oh
That
great,
card is so
great
insane.
card. Great card.
Counter spell.
All right, this isn't looking good for G.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's just a 1/1, so
There's just a 1/1. But now there's another.
There's another one. Same guy.
So this is a problem because now also
Almost like invalidates almost all the creatures in
yeah,
that deck.
Wild Mongrel starts to look pretty bad, and like even Roar of the Worm, yeah, he can block and double ping, which is still 2 for 1ing, but like, or not Roar of the Worm, Arrogant Worm. Yeah, and I mean, a problem with Madness, deep analysis. A problem with Madness is that it doesn't have any removal. It's just blue.
Right,
green.
yeah, the blue-green one is...
So everything Jasper resolves here is just going to be this accumulating problem for G. Also, whenever Jasper eventually makes himself a Lord of Atlantis, so we see the ping for 1, yeah, this is the great situation he's in where he can just sit back and ping every turn, but hold them up defensively. If Jasper also makes a Lord of Atlantis, he's just going to have this unblockable fast army. I mean, this looks bad for G.
Yeah.
It's some proxy. It's an ETB tapped land, so it's probably just another Fairy Conclave. I'm taking a look at his list to see if he's there.
Wasteland or...
And he's attacking with the other Fairy Conclave, so he's just going to try to close this
Yeah.
out, which
Seems
makes
fine.
sense to me.
When
Yeah,
you're playing... I mean, he's probably got... He can drop burn, too. Like,
yeah.
the door is closing.
Yeah, he's got 4 bolts and 4 fire ices. Yeah, like I don't know what Madness does about this situation. Yeah, I'm not sure that Madness can like manage to have a third color. It's the type of deck that would like so just love to be rug.
It wants to be...
All right, we got an Aquamoeba, which is not especially good here, but at least it enables Madness, and it can't be just pinged to death.
Yeah.
So it's not the worst.
Basically going to probably sit there and try to block, but I mean, you can't block the ping, so...
Right. Yeah,
it
geez,
is
that's
an outlet for Madness, so maybe he gets a...
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think he has a worm, though, because he wouldn't attack the forest if he does.
That's what I would think, yeah. At least he's got one of these Fairy Conclaves covered with a Wasteland. Although, knowing what we know about Jasper's deck, I wouldn't mind him cutting off red, but it looks like Jasper, he has a lot of mountains, too. G can't, like, permanently get him off red ever, really, but...
I'm just like a fan of killing the Conclave, because...
Yeah. I mean, Conclave with 2 Razorfin Hunters is going to close the game out relatively quickly. And we see him animating, it looks like. And he's going for it. Yeah, we see the Wasteland. I mean, unfortunately, G hasn't really done anything.
Right. Like, I think the Madness deck wants to just throw their cards at you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Hope to kill you, because
The Madness
if it
deck,
stumbles at all, or maybe just the texture of the hand doesn't quite do that, it's just like, I don't know.
when you don't resolve a turn to Wild Mongrel or Aquamoeba, it's just like, what is your deck doing? Cephalid Coliseum. It's not bad. It doesn't look like he has Threshold yet, though. And I guess you don't really want an island that pings you when you're also getting pinged. Swinging in for 1 with the Aquamoeba.
Alchemy is interesting, the damage on the stack, though.
Yes.
It's like
It's essentially a 3/3.
Way better with damage on the stack, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 3/3 that
I
just
guess with cards in hand.
makes
I don't
mana.
know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about Aquamoeba and Wild Mongrel is like there's all right. We see him pitching Aurora the Worm. That's a good one. A 6/6 is helpful here. Um, looks like yeah, he's still not quite at threshold with that. Would have been nice for him if he could pop the Cephalid Coliseum and then cast the Roy the Worm. But yeah, interestingly, is Roy the Worm an instant? Because he did not cast it.
I think it's a sorcery.
I have to assume it's a sorcery.
Yeah.
Beast Attack, I think, might be an instant.
Yeah, Beast Attack is. And Elfin Ambush is, right? No, that's a sorcery.
Call of the Herd. Is
Call
Elfin
the
Ambush
Call,
Herd?
Call the Herd.
Calls it sorcery. All right, we see the Saprosan Legate. All right, now this is not. Now there's triple pingers, which is enough to deal with Aquamoeba. And it can if he chooses to, he can trade his old board for Roar the Worm.
Right.
It looks like G is at 12, and Jasper effectively has a 5 damage a turn set up here. He's got him on a 3-turn clock. I can't see Jasper's life total, but I don't know that this Roar the Worm is actually very relevant. Oh, he doesn't have the Fairy Conclave anymore, it looks like. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, he got wasted.
Yeah.
I lost her.
All right, we're seeing the deep
all right.
analysis. I mean,
I love that card.
a great card. It's not super amazing when you're getting beaten down, but like,
What do you hope to like be digging for here? Like,
I think Arrogant Worms. I don't know. He's tapping his green mana still. So whatever he's looking for blue mana, or he's looking for something that costs blue mana. There's a forest anyway. He's taking 2 off of his lands here. I mean, and again, he cannot get these fingers off the board. He's casting his Roar the Worm. That's a token. Okay.
I mean, what, 3 life off of deep analysis and then 2 off the lands. That's like
He's at 7.
Yeah.
That just cut turns off. I mean, Jasper, if G never taps another pain land, or he's at 5 yet, so Jasper's got 2 turns to close it out. I mean, this 6/6. It looks like Jasper, I think his die says 15. But like Jasper also has the option of blocking and pinging if he gets desperate. So so he scoops it up. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing. Like
Seems like a hard matchup for Madness.
yeah. So let's take a look and see what Madness can bring in post board. I'm seeing 3 copies of Chill, which I don't know if you bring it in. But,
like almost no rare cards got played.
yeah, Genesis.
You may not know that there's. I mean, you probably assume there's burn, but it's still also like the deck doesn't have that many rare cards. Period.
Right. I mean, even if he thinks to bring it in, yeah, it hits Bolt, Fire Ice, and Razorfin Hunter, and I think that's it.
I kind of like Waterfront Bouncer.
Yeah, I
it's.
mean, I think
more
you
text than
probably
some
have
stuff.
to bring it
Yeah.
in. Like you just can't get these cards off the board any other way.
I don't know what Spellbane Centaur is.
I don't know Spellbane Centaur.
Well,
if it has Shroud, then maybe you want
that could be good. Let's see.
Right?
It sounds like it
Revelation
might.
Plus, you got an Unsummon.
I hate this man.
It's possible he brings in Genesis, but like, what is he taking out here? That's another thing about the Madness deck is when I look at the main deck, I don't know how you even decide to make your cuts with it because it's just like it's your Madness-esque dudes.
That seems good.
That's pretty good. Spellbane Centaur looks good. It's 2 and a green for a 3/2, and it says creatures you control can't be the target of blue spells or abilities from blue sources. That is very good.
Yeah.
If he can resolve that, then
Are all the pingers blue?
Yep. So
hilarious.
It puts him. Does fire count as blue if it's just?
I think when you cast
it's
it,
probably
it's
red.
just a red. Yeah.
So it
Fire
puts him
kills
on
this guy,
bolt. It puts him on bolt and fire.
But
and,
you got counter magic. Like you just counter that. Like,
yeah, you got to counter the Spellbane Centaur. But I mean that if he gets it in, it at least messes up that part of the game plan, and it puts Jasper on needing certain cards. But yeah, Madness is just tough. Like I was saying, when I look at their deck list, I just don't know like where you even make your cuts. It's all just like the things. Jasper has Hibernation.
Yeah, seems pretty good. Red Blast.
Red Blast seems good. Submerge,
Submerge could be fine. I
Yeah.
don't know how much you care.
Yeah, I don't know how much
Submerging a
anybody's-
worm seems pretty good.
Submerging Worm is good.
Worm token. Bye bye.
Again,
Bye bye. I think Submerge comes in. No
again, it's
question.
hard to say what you're cutting. Like Sappers and Legate sucks. You probably shouldn't be
Mhm.
playing that card in the first place. But like, there's not that much. I wonder if either of these guys is going to cut Counter Magic. I feel like G cannot because Counter Magic is his only way of keeping problematic
Mhm.
cards off the board.
Like he needs. I think he. It seems like he. Like G's strategy, his deck is just like needs the perfect sequence and perfect cards to like, or you just hope that the multicolor deck that you're facing shits itself with mana. Like I don't know. Like
Yep.
I guess you have Wasteland. You can kind of force the issue there, but
He has 2 Wastelands in his deck.
seems tough. And everybody's playing so many basics. Like you might as well just I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if what Madness is. I'd love to know what G's matchups have been. I wonder if it's maybe just good against like combo decks.
That seems. I think it's probably really good against combo decks actually.
I mean, I've played against it with Sly a handful of times, and it's not the easiest thing for something like Sly to deal with. Because you can just make guys that can't be bolted because they're too big and you have counter magic. But like, it just, like I said, it seems like a deck that really wants a third color. Or it wants a powerful thing like survival.
Mhm.
Careful study. I mean, if he pitches
it can have such good aggressive starts. So
oh yeah, I mean, well, like for instance, if he just drops 2 root wallows
Yeah.
right now, like that's
or like
good.
a root wallet and a deep analysis.
Yeah.
It'd be so awesome. Like
or
just
Pitch
that.
two forests.
Okay, here we go. All right. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know
I
about
don't
that. I mean, I guess it's sort of like maybe you hope you draw 2 not lands and you get rid of the 2 extra lands in your hand. I hope
Yeah.
the rest of his cards are really good.
All right, we got Shivan Reef go. G is wasting the Shivan Reef.
Okay.
I like that.
Yep.
I'd love to see G make a play there.
Like a guy. Be sick. Just anything.
And
Oh,
see
here we
Wasteland
go.
back.
Uh-oh.
Hope pitching those 2 forests wasn't the wrong move here. I mean, it probably wasn't. I can't imagine.
There's no way
G
he would have done it.
Just keep that.
Yeah, hopefully I mean, he's got
Granted, he doesn't know Jasper's
Yeah.
deck, so he doesn't know.
Maybe
that
he
he's
doesn't know he
gonna
has Wasteland at
it.
all.
I mean, in a way, it's almost surprising
Okay, here we
Jasper
go.
does. Treetop.
Treetop seems good. And how many of these? Okay, there's 3 though. So
3 Wastelands, yeah.
there's like a small chance he has another one right away.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that'd be a problem. Island go.
good land.
Treetop's a ways off from doing anything. Forest go. Yeah, so I mean, maybe G was a little flooded there. Still, it's rough using your careful study to not enable something and just to like get lands out of your hand. Like,
Mhm.
you know, so this is a razor fin.
Did they both keep 7?
I
Seemed like they
believe
did.
so.
That was pretty quick.
Yeah, I didn't notice them all.
I feel like Madness. That's another like downside is that mulliganing is like exponentially worse.
Merfolk looter. Well, that's not.
Um,
It's certainly good on an open board like this, and again when your opponent doesn't have removal. But I think G's probably happier to see that than like a Razorfin Hunter.
right.
Ooh, G just said go,
Oh, that's tough.
and he doesn't have blue mana, so
Like whatever Jasper wants to do, he probably
Yeah,
just
he's
can
probably
do
gonna do
His- Yeah, shields are down.
shields are down /
Lord.
G. There aren't. Is that a lord? I can't see what the
I saw a flash that looked like one of the
That's
lands.
pretty good.
It's funny that we cannot see what that card
No.
is.
Yeah, I mean
Its power is so high that it's blinding.
Yeah.
It's a lord. When it's handed over, I can see it. It's
Okay.
the Lord of Atlantis. That card's color scheme is like obvious.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is pretty good. I guess silver lining for G is he doesn't have an island.
Right? You can block it.
Yeah, I mean,
Just play
this,
another forest.
this
and-
gives Jasper a pretty fast clock, and it's like if he just has a bolt in hand too, you know, something
Yeah,
that'll
that's
speed
true.
it right up. Or another guy. Motherlord.
There you go.
Okay, and I'll say it for the 14th time. G cannot get things off the board. So, I mean, what does Madness do against this?
I mean, I think that
I think
this
game's
looks
over.
dire, dude.
Like,
This is dire.
like, what is G even hoping for? That he has a non-island land and he can animate his treetop and block a lord to kill it. Like,
It was like
it's bad.
so clutch.
It's really
the
bad.
Wasteland.
I see him pitching in Genesis. Yeah, I mean this. I think this is a hard match for G either way, but it seems like he's having mana issues. So.
Yeah, just nothing's going his way right now.
So Jasper's just gonna close this right out. Put him to 2.
4, 5, 6, 7.
There's nothing Madness can do about this.
Deep.
Yeah.
I just like bolt him on stuff.
Yikes! Well, there we go. I mean, you know, I'd like to know what Jasper's played against, but if it's been creature decks, we're seeing what his deck can do here. Pretty impressive. This is very far from an established archetype.
Mm-hmm.
So good on Jasper for this. And again, this win. All right, yeah, we see the concession. Yeah, his hands.
All blue cards.
All blue cards.
Needed that Shivan Reef to not get wastelanded.
Ouch.
Super hard.
Yeah, and I mean, again, he didn't see anything from Jasper that would make him think he has wastelands. I mean, Jasper's deck looked. If you were looking at that, I'd personally just be like, oh, I guess this is some type of blue-red control, and my opponent is weird and likes pingers. Like,
yeah.
So I guess I could keep a hand like that has a careful study and Shivan Reef as my.
I like the way that it covers like very different methods of attacking because, like,
yeah.
Well, but also just like that's how good pingers are. Like,
they're quite.
When you have that many, like. You know, like it's a clock or good luck having any guys. Like
I think that pingers they're an example of something that are like they're so fundamental to the game, and we've all been aware of them so long, and we just like don't really think about them anymore. Because like the only pinging type cards you see are things like
Grim Lawmancer's
right?
the top man,
right?
Like the only one that anybody's like thought of, and
so you never think of these like these Tim clones.
Yeah,
you're not thinking about them. And they seem like a joke, but they're not.
I mean, I was not playing at this time, but I feel like early on, like that type of card was like a big deal. Like it was probably like,
certainly in like casual Magic, like you know? I mean,
they just print multiple different named ones, like you can just fill your deck with it. Like
so, I think we're maybe seeing an exhibition game here because the players are presenting for cuts.
That's fine.
Fine with an exhibition match. So, Mike, you are playing. The Black Dragon deck that Raja has pioneered. You said you're 2/2?
Yeah, so I could face G, and I feel like that's not a good one for me.
No, that doesn't seem amazing. No. At least you have black removal, so you can.
It's true.
Get rid of it. Get rid of his things.
Yeah, and I guess so. Like, I mean, I know all the cards in the Madness deck, like by heart. Actually, like we all probably do.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I need to name. I think for Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, I certainly don't judge people who hop into these formats and want to play Madness because it's a cool deck.
I think it's
very
solid starting place.
Yeah,
you're probably gonna feel like at home playing it after just like a little bit, like especially if you are familiar with like the way the archetype actually works,
right?
Because it is super fun. It's super good.
Or if you're coming from a world of like playing specifically maybe a lot of Legacy. I think you were right to say.
I mean, it's a lot kind of Protect the Queen, sort of like not that many threats. The cards in it, the other cards in it are meant to like, give you velocity, card velocity, and then they also provide protection. And like, something like Circuit Logic is a perfect example of that, where it's like works with your threat base, but is also like one of the best like protection cards. Like if you're in like a slightly slower game. Like works when you have your premier threats out, and then also if you've been doing things just that your deck does, like it will be a solid card to just have. Like
absolutely,
even if you have the hard cast it, that's a great card. Counter basically anything.
Yeah, I'm curious if G's list is like missing anything that maybe a more seasoned middle school player would have. Other than again the like more kind of like design revolutionary cards like Survival. If you were just going to still play straight blue-green Madness without some kind of engine or gimmick, nothing jumps out at me. It's funny seeing a deck like what is sort of a Delver style deck that doesn't play Daze. His permission suite is Force of Will and Circular Logic, and Circular Logic is insane when you guys actually do it.
I'm just wondering if like maybe you just don't feel like the island count is like high enough.
I
Like,
assume so. Well, and Circular Logic, I think, is taking that place.
Yeah.
But a one mana
maybe
counter
like
itself,
some days is still like days is so good.
it's so good. Yeah, being able to counter something when you're tapped out is especially if we think about how like the game one interplay went where they had a Force of Will battle over Razorfin Hunter. If that Force of Will had been a Daze, like you'd certainly feel a lot better. But at the same time, Circular Logic is like a hard counter in the mid to late game,
Right.
And that's good too. So, all right, we see Careful Study pitching Wonder, and I didn't catch the other card. It might be Aurora of the Worm, something green, and we see a Cephalid Coliseum. So this time, G got his green source wasted.
This is what you want.
G got his green source wasted, and maybe on blue.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I think what you want is on turn 2 to make a Madness Enabler, but if you're not doing that, this is pretty good too. Yeah, it was a Roaring Worm. I mean, if G just hits land drops, he's going to have a Flying Worm very shortly,
Right.
which is pretty good. Flying Worm is something Jasper can't very easily deal with other than icing it for a turn. I'm in trouble. I have an opener.
Oh, you have an opener? Oh.
I was going to let you embarrass yourself for another minute.
I mean, it would have been sick if I'd opened it with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if people could see what I was trying to use.
It was a watch.
Sometimes you just want to test your limits,
Yeah.
and a metal broken watch, can't do it.
There's the waterfront bouncer. So G did bring that in.
Yep.
Makes sense to me.
I mean, that just seems like a great, like, you can make a worm and bounce the pinger that then can't ping again. Like,
Also,
I guess pingers kill it, but
yeah, but Lord of Atlantis pumps it. I think with the creature update, it's a Merfolk, even though it does not look like one.
that's so insane.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love the hodgepodge of rules that we've got.
Oh, it's insane. All right, we see a Careful
The London
Study.
Mulligan and then like damage on the stack. Great.
So far, this is looking like it's going better for G. He doesn't have that much pressure, but Jasper has not done anything other than Wasteland him twice, which, like, Wasteland's good, but Jasper, is Wastelanding G bet twice better than just, like, making 2 land drops and a pinger when Jasper, or when G is just playing 1/1s? And we see the third Wasteland from Jasper. That's hard for G. I mean, I think the Madness deck has a lot of basics.
I mean, it certainly has, 4 or 5 of each, probably.
But we're not seeing them from G this
Right.
game. He's going to swing for 2. It's, it's better than nothing, but it's not much of a clock, and he's passing to Jasper. Missing land drops and letting Jasper hit his is not good, but... Oh, Jasper's passing too. That's good for G. Especially if Jasper doesn't have red mana, that makes G's life a lot easier because cuts him off a lot of really problematic cards. Any red mana is a huge problem though. Like if Jasper hit red mana and a Fire Ice, there's the red mana. Fire Ice is a devastating card here.
It's a pretty goofy mountain to be playing in this format.
Yeah, I would love to. There's the Fire Ice.
Oh.
That's painful. Fire Ice is a very good card.
Is it a foiled whiteboard modern?
Yeah, would
mountain?
love to know.
I can't tell what it is.
Would love to
It's a
interview
proxy.
Jasper's. Oh man,
I'm not.
treetop into the wasteland.
I'm
Would
not
love
to make fun of the lands.
No, but I would like to know.
It's
his,
so funny,
his
like
choices.
the juxtaposition of like the old school
Yeah.
revised or whatever that one.
It might
was,
even
like,
be an
4th edition.
unlimited island. It looks like a little dark,
Mhm.
and then like 8th edition or 9th edition mountain.
9th edition is the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, that's
like
that's.
I say that
rough
because I was recently out of the game when that
Yeah.
came out. I really don't know anything about what the time was like. The
All right. G hitting a land, and Jasper is out of Wastelands by now.
Yep, that's all.
All right, Wild Mongrel, a card we have not seen show up yet.
Which is like
And
one of the
it looks
reasons to
like
play that deck.
he's forcing
Oh,
over.
yeah,
Yeah, Wild Mongrel, I think you can pretty comfortably say is the best card in the deck. I feel like Arrogant Worm,
Circular Logic, and Wild Mongrel like drive it for
but
sure.
Wild Mongrel is the engine.
Yeah, I mean,
Arrogant Worm
Careful
is,
Study and Frantic Search are also like absolutely
Frantic Search
insane.
is good, but another one. Okay,
There we go. All right, he
all
needed
right.
the green.
If he can keep this man around for a turn or two, depending on what's in his hand. He's still a mana off from Arrogant Worm. Ooh, we see another force, which seems fine to me if you're Jasper here to pick this battle. Because, I mean, G's just not doing shit. Treetop. Treetop's fine here, though. Yeah. G doesn't have, or Jasper doesn't have anything in play. And we know that G doesn't, that Jasper's out of Wastelands.
I mean, he also has to assume that it's probably pretty safe because, like, he could only have one.
Aquamoeba.
Not bad.
Yep.
Next turn, if there's a worm in hand, there's a worm.
Yeah, the tough part about Red
Just
Blast.
countered all of them, dude. Oh my god.
This is hard.
I mean,
yeah, that's hard.
damn.
Yeah, I mean, at least Treetop does beat in. It uses all of his mana every turn. It also dies to Bolt if Jasper happens to have a Bolt. But all right, now we see
another card we haven't
see
seen in this matchup.
The Urza Saga Mountain.
He must just be playing with one of each one.
Yeah,
we haven't seen it because are they all different? I mean, it's like the mountains are all weird, but the islands are pure.
Yeah, the islands are.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Animate.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. Just like you're not doing it. Yeah, it's a Bolt. Oh no! Oh no! Oh man! And Madness does not have any type of engine in a situation like this. Like the closest he has to
if you top deck a deep analysis,
and even that, it's like
I love that card.
Deep analysis is sick,
maybe
but like
maybe I said that already. I don't know, but I love that card.
It also sucks though that like G is on double pain land and deep analysis hits for 3, and he's playing against a red deck. Like he's just gonna die soon.
Yeah, probably.
Like, he's already at 10, it looks like, and Jasper hasn't done anything to earn that. So if memory serves, that's a Fairy Conclave. I don't know what that is. What would be the most offensive thing that Jasper could be proxying in his deck? It's got to be like a. It's got to be the Cicada Firewalker.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know what that card looks like.
It doesn't look like that.
What even is that from? Is it? It's like a Odyssey thing, right?
I don't.
Something. I don't know.
Cicada Fireworker. I think it's Mirage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like a wizard. All right, and there's a Razorfin Hunter. Oh, we got Circular Logic.
Oh, it's about.
Oh no! Oh no! The Circular Logic, but I think Jasper's gonna. It looked like he might be red blasting it. Oh man, G just cannot get any traction. This is just like this is the most frustrating experience you can have.
Glad I never tried to play Madness.
Yeah, and it doesn't always go like this. And Jasper's on
that's not a fair thing to say, but
like, oof.
I still believe what I say.
And let's hurry up the clock here with a City of Brass. This is painful.
This might just be like a really I think like a red blast deck. Seems bad. It seems hard.
All right, we got him tapping for 4 to make a Roar of the Worm, taking 2 damage in the process. Probably. I mean, Jasper's had an answer for everything. There surely must be an answer for this. No. But it's not enough.
And taps, he just double bolts it.
Right.
GG.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that's some pinger. The proxy there is some pinger because he just shot. Oh, so I guess G is at 13. I was mixing up their life totals on the dice. It seems like Jasper's at 10. Oof. That's bad. Lord of Atlantis means that Jasper can, if he chooses to, start swinging for unblockable for a turn and also pinging, which puts him on a 2-turn clock. G also has a 2-turn clock with his roar. Does the worm token have trample? Do you
No.
know? It's just a
Never
6/6.
explained. Only Arrogant Worm, I believe, is Trampler.
Yeah, I don't see a world where G is gonna do a thing here because he can just.
I mean, you
jump.
might just have Boulder Fire Nice too.
Right.
To just get there. I mean,
Yep.
It's lifelink.
It looks like G is at.
He pings and has Bolt.
G is at
so easy.
6. I think
6
that
or
says.
4.
Jasper's at 4. I think G is.
Oh,
at
right,
6.
right. G's the cold dice.
Yeah, G's at 6. So like.
I mean, he can't block, so it's just.
Yeah, he can't block. He can't stop the pinging. Man, what a massacre. Good for Jasper. I mean, this is
It's a very interesting deck. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't say it's like complicated or hard to understand. It's just like very interesting that it seems to be this good. Like,
yeah,
I'm a fan. I think it's cool.
yeah,
Like, this is how you make Merfolk work. Like, make it so that if your Merfolk can't be what the modern Merfolk like cards are, well, at least they can just like do unblockable damage,
Right.
like always. Like,
yeah, they're still unblockable.
play 12 of those guys, and when they have a Lord out there, 2/2s, and we all know that like 3 2/2s kill someone really fast.
Yeah.
Like,
and again, I mean, it has this weird effect of just like getting to double as a control deck as a
Mhm.
result, where it just kills any dude it wants.
I wonder how he fares against like a fast combo deck, though.
I don't know. I mean, he's got
He has a lot of counter magic, but
he's
if
got
it's not a
Force of
blue
Wills
combo
and-
deck, like, I mean, Red Blast is amazing,
Yeah, if you
but
can't lean on your Red Blast, that
like Force Will and Counterspell, like I don't know what else has he got. There's
And I
probably
mean,
some cyber cards that
his
like
clock-
help, but
his clock snowballs.
Enola is good against a lot of
Got
combo
him
decks.
down to 3. If he's got a bolt that closes it out, or if G just like pings himself at all. I mean, yeah, I guess the thing is that like the Merfolk situation snowballs, but it is slow.
It still might
So
be
it
like
makes a fast
you
combo
just
deck.
counter the right spell with Force Will, and then you still have like a lot of dudes, and you put pressure pretty good. Like, it's probably pretty, not the like most pressure, but it's probably consistent because you're just making like a few 1/1s, and then maybe you draw a Lord, or you just ping them. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like you can untap and then get the last points in with a ping. Like, it's like, I don't know. Like,
Well, congrats to Jasper. What's his answer? Is he icing the worm? It seems a little loose to me that he attacked with his pinger, the non-Merfolk one. AK for 1.
Yep.
What's he doing? His roar is lethal. I don't know why you.
I'm actually kind of lost. What is happening?
He attacked. Why?
Huh.
I thought that roar was attacking for lethal. Maybe I must be getting it wrong. Well, that was very solidly in Merfolk's favor. I don't know what to say about it, but Jasper is now 3-1 on his blue-red Merfolk brew, which is insane. That means he certainly has a good shot here. If he wins out, he will be a lock for top 8. And even if he goes 1-1, he's got a shot of squeezing in there. Which is not to say that G is 100% out. He's now 2-2 and a 2-2.
If you went out and
You got a shot for breakers, you're right, and everything. So, be happy to see either of these guys in the top 8. But yeah, I mean, all props to Jasper for brewing and playing this thing. He's been, like I said, repping it in a few
played
weeks.
every single one he's played.
Yeah, and he's
Great, dude. I love the purists. I love the
yeah. No, it's sick.
the dedicated like strategy. Like, this is who I am.
Yeah,
I love the way that you can express yourself with like the deck that you play. Like, some people like to jump around, but some people are just like, I play these decks, and it. And you see me at the weekly or at the event, like,
you know what I'm on.
you have a good chance of guessing what it is, or maybe you just know because I only play one deck. Like,
Well, and Jasper obviously has faith in this, and he must have, after previous events said, I think it's capable of more, and I'm going to keep pushing it. Which is not to say that he's had horrible finishes. I don't know his records off the top of my hand, but I think he generally finishes in the 3-3 to 4-2 range anyway. But
it's better than me. I'm usually really bad at these middle school tournaments.
Yeah,
I thought I was starting off well this time, but I don't know.
Again, 2-2 is
could go either way.
The delicate side of myself tells me in every league that my goal is to go 50-50, and if I do that, I can be happy. It's never
you won't be happy, but you won't be like that mad.
Right.
Like,
but
sad.
In actuality, I mean, I'm still enough of a spike that I'm actually trying to top 8 every single thing. So like 3-3, I don't get upset, but it's a disappointment when you actually go 50-50. So again, kudos to people who seemingly are out there playing to win, and they're also doing it with Razorfin Hunter.
So that's a vibe.
Well, yeah. Thanks Jasper for the good games here, and thanks G for doing it, and thanks for hosting, man.
Yeah, no problem. And thanks to everybody who watched this. Glad to provide just the smallest amount of entertainment, if that is even possible, by something that I'm involved with, whatever.
It's not
good times. Yeah, I'm sure that people tune in is like, this fucking guy. Like, dude, I'll just watch like anything else. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they saved us for week 4. This was the week we expected people wouldn't be tuning in.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see everyone again next Thursday. We don't know who we have on deck yet. I imagine at that point we'll be creeping closer to top 8, so we'll probably be featuring some of the contenders there, and hopefully get a more professional hosting duo. But thanks everyone for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed the games, and we'll catch you guys soon.
See y'all soon.